Dr. Jan with some wise words to work with. And leaders should not be turning a blind eye to issues like toxicity and workplace bullying. Okay. In this video, we're going to talk about how do you confront a bully and talk about workplace bullying. That's really, really important. You can't turn a blind eye to that. If you're a leader, and I know it can be difficult, you have to hit that head on and talk to the bully about what's happening. Okay. And so first off, it's really, really important, no matter what your leadership skill level is, even if you're top notch, to think about that interaction, plan and strategize about it. Okay. That's really a mistake that a lot of people in leadership, supervisors, and even in human resources make is they think that they can wing it. Okay. One of the things we know about bullies is when they are confronted and you are making attempts to hold them accountable, what happens is they do what they do best and they go into bully mode and they can throw us off our game and they can throw you off your game. So plan and strategize about when you want that to happen, how you want it to happen, and if it's not going well, how you can effectively stop that meeting. Okay. So let's talk about that last piece first. Okay. Why it's important to have a way to end the meeting respectfully and kindly if you see it's not going well. Okay. First off, when you're confronting a bully, especially if this is the first time, okay, they're going to be hyper vigilant about bullying, about deflecting, about whataboutism, about calling people names, about engaging and escalating the situation. Okay. And you need to make sure that you have some way of saying, okay, enough is enough. Okay. Why it's a mistake to let a bully keep going on, yelling, raising their voice, and swearing is because they're getting away with what they want, and that's to throw you off and to engage in bullying and bad behavior. Okay. So one of the places that I worked in, we had a new interim chair come in. And before that interim chair came in, we had met together as a group. Okay. The bullies, the bystanders, myself, and another target. Okay. And we had an outside person come in and we put together a professional standards of behavior. We identified areas that were problematic. Okay. Meetings, emails were a couple of those things. And we all agreed that this was the standard. These were the things in emails we were going to do. These were the things in emails we wouldn't do. And that was the same for meetings too. And we had a chair who did an exceptional job of holding us to those standards. Okay. And what happened when we had the first couple of meetings, we followed Robert's Rules of Order. If you know anything about those, I have rigid rules of how people should operate in meetings. Okay. People try to push the envelope and not follow those rules. But we had a chair who laid down the law and said, we agreed on this. Okay. And so in those meetings and in via email, we had a good standard. For me at that time in the environment, things got better. Okay. But one of the things that happened that chair was allowing to happen was behind the scenes, these bullies were going into his office to vent and bully him because they were upset because he wasn't allowing them to engage in bullying with my friend, myself and my friend who happened to be the other target. Okay. And he was allowing them to yell and swear and call him names and slam doors and all of those things. Okay. Well, again, we had set a standard of professional behavior in our department. And because he didn't stop that behavior, he was essentially giving them the green flag to go on and on and on with bullying. Instead of bullying me, they were bullying him. Okay. So even though the environment improved a little bit, they were still engaging in bullying behavior because he was not holding them to the standard that said, I'm not going to put up with that. Okay. And you can utilize a lot of different ways to get out of those situations. But you have to have a way to end the meeting because they will likely push back and extend that bullying, and it will escalate. Okay. And the reason that it's so important for you to put boundaries on what they can do is so that they know you're serious. Okay. The chair in my department should have put boundaries on what they were doing. One, to protect himself, and two, to show them, hey, that's not allowed. Okay, we're not going there and we're not doing that. So again, have a way to um, get out if you need to, or end the meeting in a respectful, kind way. Okay, so let's start about when is the best time to do it. Now, again, that depends on your work environment. When should you confront a bully? I would do it at a time when there are as little or few people around as possible. Okay. And at a time when you know that you're going to be at your best. Okay. So, for example, I'm not a morning girl. Okay. It takes me a little bit of time to get together in the morning to get on my rhythm. Okay. I probably do it for myself about 10 o'clock because that's a better time for me. You want to be at your top notch. So schedule that works for you. Okay. When you are the best that you can be. Okay. The other thing too is when you have that meeting, okay, you want to make sure that it's non-confrontational. Okay. Again, you want to approach the bully in a way that allows them to be handled with kid gloves up to a point. Okay. And I wouldn't say to them, oh, we hear you've got been bullying. You want to, again, use good communication skills, I statements, that sort of thing. And you want to make sure that you're actively listening, but you don't want to let them pull their bully tricks. Like, for example, if they start blaming someone else, okay, you need to put the kibosh on that. The other thing, let me just rewind a little bit, is when you're confronting that bully, you're confronting their behavior. You're not confronting them as a person. I also would not even mention anybody else who the allegations are from or anything like that. Okay. All you want to focus on is how they are performing in the workplace and how are they behaving and treating their peers. Okay. And so you want to make it about their behavior, not about them as a person. Okay. And if you think about it, that makes sense because none of us like to be attacked personally. Okay. It's hard enough to have our professional behavior attacked, but when we make it personal, then that makes it much more difficult for us to engage and make a connection with the bully about their behavior. Okay. The other thing is I would ask open-ended questions. I wouldn't say something like, well, Jan, I hear you've been bullying people, right? Start gently. Hi, Jan. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you in the workplace. How's it going? Okay. Give them an opportunity to tell you what's going on. Okay. It's very unlikely that a bully is going to say, well, I've been bullying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. They're likely to say something like, well, Martha's been bullying me, or Martha's been, I don't like Martha, right? They're very likely to start talking about how they are being bullied and victimized. Okay. You want to immediately stop that and say, I'm really interested. I get it. I get it. I get it. Seems like you're having some trouble with your colleagues. I'm really interested again in how you're doing. How do you think things are going with your interaction or behavior? Okay. always want to bring it back to them, because what they will do is they will lie, lie, lie. They will pull whataboutism. Okay. They will pull whataboutism. They will pull whataboutism, and they will blame the target. Okay. And that's what they will do. They will lie, they'll pull whataboutism, and they'll blame the target. And you want to stop all three of those things. Okay. So again, you need to come prepared with the facts that you know about what they are doing. So what I also recommend is, before you have this meeting, is that you do a little bit of investigating. You go out and you watch what's happening. It's really important that you have concrete examples of what they have done, especially around the bullying. And it's super important, if you can, if you have witnessed those or seen those, so that you can bring those into the conversation. I don't recommend calling a person a bully or tell them that you think they're engaged in bullying, because I think what that does immediately is it raises the temperature in the room. Again, keep focusing on specific examples of what you know they have done. Stop the lying, stop the whataboutism, and stop the blame. Okay. And if they keep going back to those kind of techniques, then maybe it's time for you to stop the meeting. Okay. If you're comfortable and you feel like they know that their behavior is being called out, what I would recommend is telling them in this first meeting, again, you know what's kind of happening, and also that you really would like them to think about their behavior. Think about the impact that it might be having on that organization, your organization as a whole, okay? How you think it's other people are viewing them as a colleague, okay? And I just leave the meeting with asking them to think about how they would like you to intervene. You're probably wondering why I'm recommending that you ask them about how they want you to intervene. And I recommend that because it's planting the seed for intervention, so that later on, when you develop a plan of intervention to help them improve their professional behavior, it's not coming out of left field. Okay. They're probably not going to give you any good answer, but it does allow them to think about it, and you have planted the seed. Okay. Again, one of the things that's really important to remember is that you're not stopping the bully or the bullying behavior in one meeting. You have to be in this for the long haul. Okay. You're going to have to meet with that bully several times to develop a plan of action to stop bullying behavior. This first meeting is just to let them know that you're going to look into what's happening, that you're aware of what's happening, and also to let them know that you're going to intervene. Okay. I wouldn't do it in that first meeting, because what will happen is that bullying behavior will escalate. Okay. And so you should have a series of meetings with the workplace bully. The other thing I want you to I want to really recommend is make sure that you don't let the bully get under your skin, that you don't engage in any unprofessional behavior, because I've dealt with a lot of bullies, and I know one thing they are good at, and that is getting you to react to them in an emotional and unprofessional way. Okay. And by doing that, you're giving them the green light to bullying, and then they feel like they have something to hold over you. Again, if you're going to have, and when you have that meeting with the bully, because you cannot turn a blind eye to toxicity and bullying. If you're the leader, it's your responsibility. Okay. Make sure that you have a time that works best for you, where you're going to be at your best performance. Have a way to get out of that if it doesn't go well. Make sure you're using your great communication skills, your I statements, your active listening, that you're keeping control of your emotions, okay? And that you get them to try to open up as much as possible. Make sure you're stopping their bullying behavior. And most of all is plant the seed to let them know that you are in for the long haul, and that intervention is coming. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, if you've dealt with a workplace bully, I would love to hear how those interactions went with you if you're a leader. Thank you so much.